And now, Indiana Jones 5. Did it nuke the fridge?
Welcome back to Eat, Sleep, Nerd. In this video, we are reviewing and discussing Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I am your dorky DJ, Corey Winter, and as always, I am joined by my nerdy brother, Josh Winter, and our geeky friends, Jason Summer and Christian James, and special guest, Nick Murphy. Woo! Welcome to the show!
Welcome!
All right.
What's up, y'all?
Literally the only reason Nick is here is because he watched it with Josh and me. So
I invited myself, is what happened.
I don't think Nick even knew we had a show until I asked him to come be on it.
I did
So
not.
Yeah, this is it.
I have taken no notes.
You are now on the internet.
So,
Stumbled into the theater and then just followed us home.
Like, is the seat taken right here?
I
you.
see you have 4 microphones. Yeah. Yeah.
all right. So just real quick housekeeping thing before we get right into it. For our
Housekeeping?
podcast listeners, this is actually going to take the place of our usual Tuesday podcast episode.
You want
So this
pillow?
is a spoiler cast. So if you have not seen Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, you might want to go watch that before listening to this episode because we got things to say that will spoil the movie for you.
Mathematical spoilers.
Ooh.
Oh, good
Sticking to
one.
the theme.
you can count on it.
Hey!
Hey. Hey.
All right. Well, with that note, let's get into it. So I want to know how everyone felt about this movie before we get into the breakdown of the everything. So let's just go around robin. We'll start over there with Christian.
Back in it.
So, hot seat. How did you
Yes.
feel about this movie?
Man, Indiana Jones, Dial of Destiny felt like your good old Indiana Jones movie. Whatever that stuff was in between 3 and 4, don't know what happened. But yeah, it just felt like the normal Indiana Jones. No, like, you see this old man, hijinks, action, more hijinks, some weird hijinks, and movie. Love it.
Say hijinks again.
Hijinks.
No, wait. Who is this jinx that we're saying hi to?
The
Okay,
I
I'm
don't
sorry.
know.
I'm sorry. That was
Yeah,
bad.
it
That
definitely
was pretty
felt
bad
good.
even for me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I have a bad time watching extended movies nowadays because I get like the real sleepy eye. But like I was rather engaged the entire time. So
And you went late, too.
I went to the 9:45 showing.
After having worked all day.
Yeah,
Wow.
And you didn't fall asleep.
I got out at
I mean, it's Best
midnight
Buy.
30,
Working is a strong word.
walking around and
There you go.
Putting your employer on blast right there. Ooh.
Eh.
All right. So Christian had a good time. Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad. Let's go ahead and
time.
hop over to Jason down there in the little box.
Oh,
Hey.
Robin is rounding that
Yeah,
way.
I know. I just
Okay.
I'm making things up as I go.
counterclockwise 5.
Jason,
Yeah,
how'd you feel about it?
it was a movie.
Oh no!
Shocker, Jason didn't like something.
Hey.
No.
I am overall. It was. It was very blah to me. It was very. It just was kind of there. Yeah,
Okay.
it wasn't horrible. I would say for me, it's gonna be kind of forgettable.
Gasp.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
okay.
I'm not.
I'm clutching my pearls right now.
Yeah. I'm
So
sorry.
for Nick, not familiar with our review scale, Jason's usually at the bottom of what we score things, just
Okay.
because he has very strong feelings about everything,
Okay.
which is usually good because it balances us out. But
Yeah.
this is not surprising to us. I'm gonna
Really?
be honest.
I
As a
tend to
theater
be
person.
I
he's
tend to be
got-
over generous.
Mhm.
He tends to be overly
Overcritical.
strict.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. He's got higher expectations, theater and background
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah. So, yeah, Jason points out all the
Nick, I
acting
like
and-
you. You can stay.
I just get it. I mean, I don't agree, but it's I
If it relies on
Right.
80s nostalgia, it's not going to score well. Jason has a very rose-colored memory of the 80s. So,
I understand.
I'm gonna go ahead and go next. I know I said round robin, but
Yeah, you absolutely did everything but. You're like round robin, which translates to random.
So I think, like a lot of people, there has been a love-hate relationship with the Indiana Jones franchise. There'll be one movie you love, one movie you hate, one movie you love, one movie you hate. And I think this one for me was kind of right there in the middle. Like, it was not The Last Crusade for me, which was my favorite, because, Sean Connery. But this was definitely not Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Definitely.
It was kind of...
Which is also one of your favorites.
No.
Oh,
I said it's in the middle. It's at the bottom.
okay.
I think
You seem like the kind of guy who might like.
there was
Crystal Skull.
one thing about the movie that just kind of felt a little bit too weird to me, and we'll get to that when we get to the really spoilery breakdown section. But I like seeing Harrison Ford back doing this one more time. I think his part of the movie was great. Seeing that character again, I thought it felt like an Indiana Jones movie, which was good because the Kingdom of Crystal Skull did not. So I think for that, it was a great movie. But there's just one thing that rubbed me the wrong way that would keep it from being a perfect movie for me. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and go to... Ooh, I know Josh is a big indie fan. Let's go Nick next.
I loved it. I loved the movie. This is the type of movie that I would go and pay money to go see.
Did you not do that this time?
What?
What?
Yes, I did. I paid money for this one. Yes, but this is.
And he doesn't feel bad about it.
I don't feel bad about it. Yeah, I don't feel like I wasted my money. I very much enjoyed this movie. Like Christian said, I think it was a movie that it was an Indiana Jones movie that felt like the old ones.
Yeah.
It felt like I was watching Indiana Jones going on an adventure. I didn't feel like I was watching an old man do it, which a little bit of that kind of you had to suspend your disbelief a little bit.
Yeah.
With some of the things because there's like he's
Yeah.
But at the same time, you think back to some other things that Indiana Jones has had to go through in the previous movies, and you're like, well, okay,
We're on par here.
Yeah. This is what it should be. Yes, this is like a 2023 version of Indiana Jones where you have to compete with the Avengers and the Batman movies and all those things where you see them do kind of ridiculous things, and you're just like, you shouldn't be able to do that, but it's fine. It's Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
So that there were a couple moments where it kind of took me out of it with that. It was, that's just a little too much. But overall, I really, really enjoyed the movie. I would see it again, and I don't see movies twice. I just don't do it.
What's that like?
Liberating.
Your life sounds sad.
Aw.
No, but it's a great movie. I think it could wipe the taste of the Crystal Skull out of some people's mouths.
Yeah.
Maybe we can call this one the fourth Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah, just
Instead.
erase it from history.
James Mangold did a good job, I think.
Yes. Yeah. And then our indie fan, the man that has owned a fedora, and a lasso, I think, at one point in time.
A lasso or a whip?
Yes.
Yeah.
They whip.
Sorry,
Yes.
whip. So, Josh, how'd you feel about this movie?
It was good.
All right.
It was good.
Solid reaction.
No, I mean it. Downside of going fifth. Not a whole lot to say that I haven't heard. It's okay. We had to do drunk round robin. No, it was, I think, as good of an ending as we could possibly get.
Yeah.
With the exception of the part where they rode into the sunset at the end of Indiana Jones 3. That probably would have been the actual best ending.
Yeah.
Yes.
But under the assumption that we were going to do more movies, because that's what Hollywood does. This was as good as it could have possibly been. James Mangold knows how to look at an existing property and figure out what makes it work, what made it popular in the first place. It was the most Steven Spielberg-y, but not Steven Spielberg movie I've seen in a while. And let's be real, that's a style that is imitated frequently. And there's a reason why. He's like the top grossing director of all time. But I thought it was great. The old man thing, I think they leaned into it a little bit, and they at least acknowledged it, which I think helped sell that disbelief. For me, it never took me out of it. No. But it was definitely old man indie, which turns out is just Harrison Ford. So no, I liked it. It was great. Great setting, great characterization, great way to wrap it up. Yeah, I liked it.
So, Jason, everyone on this side of the screen enjoyed it. But it's fine. It's
Everyone
fine.
not in Arizona thought it was great.
So let's actually just use that to carry us into our breakdown because, this was hyped up for the longest time because obviously James Mangold doesn't miss. And so it was getting very, very early previews and test screenings and stuff, which is not typical unless you're very confident as a studio in the quality of the film. It released at the Cannes Film Festival back in May, which was 2 months before the release in theaters, and it did not get very great scores.
It's a bold move, Cotton.
Yes. So that was kind of disappointing to us because we're like, how was this movie going to miss? So it finally released in theaters, and yet again, it's one of those things where critic scores are not lining up with audience scores. I think the critic score on Rotten Tomatoes right now is like a 68. Audience score right now is, I think, an A, somewhere in there. So yet again, audiences not lining up with critics. So yet again, we're kind of splitting the entire thing. A lot of us are feeling really good about it. A lot of us are in the middle, and then Jason, you're down there somewhere in the bottom, I guess.
He's feeling it.
So we'll save the scoring for the last thing we do. Let's go ahead and get into some breakdown of the story and just some talking points in general. So I think the very first thing we should talk about is just that big opening sequence where we got to see that big de-aged Harrison Ford for like a good, 10, 15 minutes?
It's longer than that.
Surprisingly-
I timed it. It was like 22 minutes.
Yeah,
Wow,
I was
wow, yeah.
surprised.
Yeah.
They
So
did that
here's-
rather well.
So here's the thing, though. Oh, that was a huge selling point on the film.
1 second.
Come on.
Spoilers! Sorry, we didn't
Oh,
release
yeah.
the spoiler.
Red alert.
Yeah, red alert. Spoilers.
Wah, wah.
Spoilers.
Wah, wah,
Sorry.
wah,
Sorry.
wah, wah, wah.
I meant to do that earlier. So go ahead.
So, no, it actually kind of ties into what I was going to say. Overall, it was a great sequence. I enjoyed that portion of the film, and it definitely set the tone for we're shooting for a good old Indiana Jones movie, Nazis. And for the most part, the de-aging I think worked. There were some spots that were a little rough, but I mean, it's essentially a completely digital character. I do think most of the time they did what I hoped they would do, which was it was not actually Harrison Ford doing the acting. During that sequence, he didn't spend much time moving like an old man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no.
So I think they had a younger guy that they put Harrison Ford's face onto.
Yeah.
That's good. Old man Harrison Ford's voice took me out of it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yep.
It didn't line up to the face.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that was a little disappointing. It didn't break it for me. But here's what I was going to say. How cool would it have been, because that was a big talking point leading up to the premiere of the movie, was this big opening sequence with the de-aged Harrison Ford. Look what we did.
Yeah.
How cool would it have been if you had no idea that sequence was coming?
Yeah.
That would have been cool.
Yeah.
And
I
it's,
That would
had
have
no
been
idea.
way
and
cooler.
it goes back. Yeah, it goes back to the whole studios need to stop talking about their stuff and just put it out. Because like that would have been so cool for me if it was just, oh my god, is this the whole movie?
Yeah.
Like you know, because
Footage?
like,
Well, even if you don't follow production stuff like we do, I mean, it was still in the first trailer. Like they showed a scene of it
Yeah.
in the initial.
like what if
launch.
you just had no idea going in?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Okay,
I had no idea.
Oh,
I mean,
well, there you go.
the first thing that I did when I saw him was I leaned over to you and I said, "Boy, he looks good."
Yeah,
Like, man, yeah, he was good for 70.
Like, man,
that California air is just
Yeah.
great.
That's funny.
But okay, so I mean, like that. Okay, so you didn't know it was
I
coming.
had no idea.
Did that? I mean, was that awesome?
It-
It was like I don't.
It was, and then the juxtaposition going into after that scene when you see old man Harrison Ford, you see old man Indiana, the juxtaposition between the two is like, boy, that it kind of made the opening scene a little bit better for me.
Yeah.
Just because of the I guess the work that went into it to make him look
Yeah.
like his like the character that you know.
Yeah. Because
You know?
I don't think they did a lot of work to make current Harrison Ford look younger.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
He looks the same. Just
Yeah.
wrinkles.
Like
Yeah.
it's. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Mhm.
Like it's smash cutting to ancient Harrison Ford helped. Like, oh crap, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's one of mine. I mean, like this is like my original movie crush is the Indiana Jones series, right? Like I've watched
You don't
those
say.
movies a billion times, and in my head, that's still what Harrison Ford looks like.
Yeah.
I forget that Harrison Ford is old now until I watch a current movie with Harrison Ford in it.
It's kind of like Tom Cruise, but even though Tom Cruise is not
I was gonna say that's not a fair
falling,
comparison.
he's not falling into how old he is, but you can You can see it in his face.
Yeah, like Tom Hanks is another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Like in my head, he's just not old.
Right.
Harrison Ford is not old in my head. I have to remind myself that he's old. So yeah, that entire opening sequence and then straight into old Harrison Ford, which was hilarious. But
So speaking of the opening sequence, there are several parts in it which kind of, I guess, started like I picked up on like almost right away, and I wasn't looking for stuff like I wanted. You guys know I wanted to like this. I loved Indiana Jones. I wanted to like this movie, much more than I did. So it was very sloppy to me. Like the storytelling and how things progressed was very sloppy. First off, like when Indiana Jones takes over the car or knocks out the driver in the car that he takes over, like everybody was around him. Like they even showed like officers and Nazis in the background. And then somebody got in the car almost 3 seconds after he knocked that guy out. And I'm like,
So
he would have been seen. He would have been seen.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Secondly, when the train crashed after the bomb, none of the cars derailed off the bridge. They're just, I mean, like at that speed, they would have completely.
but they were precariously balanced. You saw it.
Yeah.
Right. It would have completely accordioned and they would have fallen off the bridge.
See, what I was thinking is when they're showing the shot of them walking away,
Yeah.
you see other British flags on them. I wouldn't assume that the British came and just put those flags on that wrecked train. It was a British train that was coming the other direction to intercept them. So that could have been.
How did you notice that?
I'll be looking.
Right. we mentioned this before. Christian picks up on stuff that we don't see.
I'm telling you.
No,
Yeah.
so rewinding a little bit to what
Yeah.
you were just saying, Jason, about when he knocked out the driver of the car and
Yeah.
immediately someone else got in.
Yeah.
I noticed that immediately too. Like, how did they not see that dead, or I
Right.
guess not dead, but
That
knocked out
knocked out
body
person.
right next to the
Right.
ground? But I also noticed that the guys getting into the car were also distracted, like they weren't really paying attention to anything. So I kind of forgave it.
But
also,
he knocked the guy out and pulled him out of the car. So there's a guy laying on the ground.
as
they
it was
walk up to
dark,
the car.
man.
There was
It
also a lot
dark.
going on.
Yeah.
There were
All
bombs
right.
exploding.
Okay.
There was things that needed to take care of, so they weren't
Okay.
necessarily paying attention to the ground.
I also immediately forgave it because it was a classic Indiana Jones hiding in plain sight moment.
Hijinks.
Like he has found himself in the middle of this precarious situation and he's just rolling with it. That was a very classic Indy moment that I
But
loved.
none of the other movies. Well, I didn't watch Crystal Skull enough to say that one worked or not. But in the other three movies, I never had a sense like that. Like, oh, like I'll. There are lots of times where it's like, oh, I can suspend the belief for this. But yeah, I don't know. So that, and then anyway. So those.
Well,
that's
to be fair, yes, Jason, I did think that too.
Yes.
Because I was looking at the people in the background. I'm like, that doesn't look too far away.
right. Thank you.
Like, how is no one reacting to this?
Right. So to me, it's like it started off sloppy to me, and it wasn't. I know they were trying to make it this really, really huge, wonderful scene to reintroduce Indiana Jones that we all grew up with, and it fell flat for me. The whole.
I was too busy going, yay, Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
I wanted to be that way. I
Yeah.
wanted it
Yay,
so bad.
Indiana
But yeah,
Jones.
in turn, that just seems really Indiana Jones.
Yeah, but he was always hiding behind things. Like he always like snagged like the last guy in the line, or he's behind a tank, or behind a car and nobody else is around.
But-
and
But there were so many other things, though, that did feel like an Indiana Jones thing. Like when he's walking through the train car and he picks up the spear before he knows it's worthless. And he's turning around and he's leaving, and they're just like, hey, bro,
Right.
your uniform has a bullet hole in it.
like through it.
Like that's some kind of stuff that happens to Indiana Jones.
Yes,
And he just
yes,
kind of has to
yes.
smile and dive out a window or something. Like that's just
Yeah.
So I don't know. There were more hits than misses. And I think anytime you're taking a franchise that's 5 entries deep and 40 years old
Yeah.
now, we're getting like one a decade.
Yeah.
I will forgive some things. And again, I was too busy going, yay, Indiana Jones. Yay.
And there's
So-
another thing I want to see if you guys like saw it. It's when he's getting to the top of the train and he's crossing the train cars. Did you realize the CGI? There?
Yes.
It was awful.
Yeah,
It
I don't
looked
know.
like the Matrix Reloaded Neo swinging around on a pipe.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like.
And like
It was really
I've
bad.
seen some videos of like VFX artists talking about like how
So it was a
no one
parallax
really
shot.
no one really
Yeah.
perfected like CG characters to have weight. So they'll always look like they're like flying around effortlessly. And I was like, I mean, that was weird looking. Like, it was like Gumby up there. But I can forgive something like that.
I think
So-
we're just old enough to get that reference.
Yeah.
So I do know, and I haven't pieced together exactly what shot it is, but I'm betting it ends up in one of the behind the scenes or the trivia or something like that. But I guarantee that silhouette shot was literally them rotoscoping Indiana Jones running across something, because like that movement was so Indiana Jones. The problem was it just had no weight,
Yeah.
like you said. And I think it's because they literally traced a shot from an existing movie, hoping you would just recognize the movement. Because that was also the first time they played the Indiana Jones theme really, really loud. And I remember thinking, man, that doesn't look good. So, like, what a time to play the theme for the first time. But then the longer I looked at it, I was like, no.
I was like,
oh, it's when he runs across the submarine in Raiders. And he gives a little salute to the guys as they're going away, and then he runs across the top before he goes down to the end. I guarantee if you compare those two shots, they literally traced over him running right through there. Because it was definitely a Harrison Ford run. It just looked like it wasn't attached to the train,
Yeah.
which is what made it look
It was going
weird.
too fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because in the submarine, he's covering like 30 feet. On that train, he had to cover 6 cars.
Yeah.
So I guarantee that's what it is. And I'm betting when we see the bonus features, that's what it was. So you can write that down. Calling my shot. Calling the shot.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and use this intro sequence to tie into 2 more things and carry us into the rest of the movie. So the first one is just, we got our first look, obviously, at Mads Mikkelsen, who is the big baddie of this film.
De-aged Mads Mikkelsen made me uncomfortable.
Little bit. I will say that.
But
But
I
also,
don't even think it looked bad. It's just young Mads Mikkelsen made me uncomfortable.
yeah. So let's just talk about Mads Mikkelsen as an Indiana Jones villain. I think this was a role he was born to play, a bad guy for Indiana Jones. Like,
A Nazi. He's been dancing around this for a long time. Been dancing around this for a while. I'm glad he finally just said, "Yeah, I'll play a Nazi."
Yeah.
it's fine. And he's Danish. That was a big deal. But
no.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was great.
I mean,
Yeah, nailed it.
overall, yeah, he was awesome. And which is funny to me because I've been spending my small amount of off time learning German. So that whole front sequence and into the movie, I was like, hey, I know that word. Hey, I know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
But I was like, am I siding with the Nazis?
Oh, God.
Ooh, awkward.
Because speaking language is the same thing. Yeah.
I'm going to cut that into a little YouTube short, no context. Just so that people react.
Oh, am I siding with the Nazis?
oh, great.
Lots of clicks. That's what it is.
So obviously the big intro sequence set up the actual plot of the film. They discovered the Archimedes dial, which, what was that actually? It was an anti
Disestablishmentarianism. Wait, hang on.
no,
Yeah, I was trying to pronounce that word the whole movie.
Antikythera?
Antitheka.
Antikythera?
Antitheka?
Antikythera. Archimedes dial.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, I get why they go with Dial of Destiny.
yes.
Yeah.
So this carries us into the big plot of the movie, which was the supernatural element of it, which is a pretty classic Indiana Jones thing, the supernatural
It
element
was
of the
actually
story.
mathematics.
I mean, it was kind of supernatural.
They
'cause-
made that a big point.
He's right though. It is.
Mads
let's-
Mikkelsen said it.
I think this
several
this is
times.
the next big talking point. So how did you guys feel about the time travel aspect of this film?
I think I loved it. I don't know. I'm not sure.
it was one thing. So I've by the end when they were in the plane and they were the whole dialogue, I was thinking to myself, like, are they about to go back in time? Are we really about to go back in time?
Went back and done.
We went back like like in the was it the first movie? I think anyway. Throughout Indiana Jones, there was a lot of things that were just like,
There's always been a supernatural something.
yeah,
except for,
which is more believable of a stake to go through, like
Yeah.
almost getting your heart ripped out. A bunch of ghouls trying to steal your soul.
Cup of Christ.
Get that?
I was gonna say. I mean, the Holy
Yeah.
Grail had the whole
It's literally the Holy Grail.
Yeah,
eternity
Holy Grail.
thing.
It's the Holy
Yeah.
Grail of Holy Grail.
And it's like it's not. It doesn't sound as ridiculous in this kind of like universe, sort of, but like a little porthole in the sky, and you end up in Archimedes time.
Yeah, so I will say that's the one aspect of this film that I think didn't really hit for me was the time travel thing.
But it was cool
It was cool. It was
That-
done well.
that by the end that he was just like, this has been my whole life. I'm here seeing it. I'm talking to Archimedes, and I just want to be here.
Dude, I thought they were about to pull spoilers for a whole other movie. I thought they were about to pull a No Time to Die thing where they just kill off this decades long character without telling us ahead of time.
I've not seen that.
It's fine. You know it's coming.
You've had like a year.
Yeah.
At this point, it's on you.
Yeah.
I thought they were about to kill Indy, and I was not going to be okay with that.
I would have been.
Yeah, at that point, I was actually emotionally prepared.
Yeah.
So yeah, because they'd already killed off Han Solo, right? I almost said
Yes.
Hans Zimmer. Anyway, that's a very different person. So to me, I was thinking this whole time during that part when we kind of realized that there was going to be some kind of time something. Like, boy, this is what Marvel has done to movies. It was what I thought the whole time. Because I thought to give my point of view on the Mads guy, which is a wild first name, said the American.
Yeah.
I think I love movies that have incredible amounts of peril because it really makes you. That's why Infinity War was so good
Yes.
because like they
You
ended
really
it.
felt like they lost.
It was that
Yeah.
was the end. Like
that would have been the most baller move ever, by the
Yeah.
way. If they just, that was it.
yeah.
That was the story.
But I mean that's why I was so invested in it, and then that's
Yeah.
why Endgame broke so many records. But I truly felt like Indiana Jones was in peril. Like like you said, he was gone. But just the time travel was a little. I guess to fix the problem, like in Ant-Man, to
Yeah.
fix the
Yeah.
problem, let's go back in time and pretend like it. So that part was a little to me. Like I agree with you, Corey. It was a little much for me, but I guess it was a way to do it, and it was a way. It was a way
to do it.
It was a way to do it that didn't involve previous things. I guess.
Yeah.
And also at the same time, like his plan was to go back in time to kill Hitler. I mean,
That was a good little
Yeah.
twist.
I do love the twist on it though.
yeah.
Because we did think in the moment, we thought like, okay, well he did it. Like he's gone back in time, he did it. And then Indiana Jones was like, but you forgot the Earth like does stuff.
Yeah.
So like you gotta work through that, and we're going to the wrong place. But it was just some parts of it were cool, but it was a little
Well, and I like the twist on top of that twist, where they said no matter when you go back, the whole point was it always goes back to Archimedes.
Yeah.
Like that was cool. I like
Yeah.
that. All right, Jason, crap all over it. Go for it.
Well, thanks for that vote of confidence.
Just a big old steamer. Just
Nah,
rocking on out.
Well,
We know how
I
it's
mean,
gonna go.
I'm okay. Let's see.
We will accept literal powers of God, but not time travel. Go on.
Like, what powers of God? What movie was that?
The Holy Grail. and
Literally
the Last
1
Crusade.
and 3.
Oh,
Up until this point, it was half the series.
yes.
Which I think is actually kind of why I did not like the time travel aspect. I would have liked another religious something.
right.
To kind
I
of tie
think,
it in.
It's 2023. We're not allowed to talk about religion.
Yeah,
We're not allowed to have religion anymore.
I was trying to, as you guys were talking, I was trying to also think of what other supernatural or mythological elements of our history would have been just as interesting to follow up on as the Ark or the Holy Grail.
I've thought of one. If you don't have one, I have one.
Oh wait, okay, what you got?
I thought it would have been. This might be a little too much. I thought it would have been cool if he had was hunting down the body of Christ.
I was literally about to say that.
But-
Yeah.
Just
He ascended.
yeah, the third day.
No, he
what-
resurrected
yeah,
the third day. He
like-
ascended after 40 days.
Or like
that's where we draw the
Oh,
line,
that's
not
true,
time
yeah,
travel,
yeah.
but that's where we draw
well,
the line.
since, since he's like an archaeologist.
Whoa!
Wow. An archaeologist. Finding Jesus' chakla.
Whoa, I couldn't hear what you said. after
What's a
that. I don't know
chakla?
what you said.
His
sandal, right?
His sandal.
Yeah.
I was saying
Whatever it is, it belongs in a museum.
Right.
Something
So
like
do
that.
you. Which, yeah, man. It was.
Ooh, I don't remember that. That's good.
Anyway, okay. Guys, I was just, I don't have much to say about this one. It was just kind of,
It's okay. It's okay.
no, it's just,
It's okay.
I feel so bad now. Okay, the best thing that came out of this movie, the best thing, was that my nephew, my 13-year-old nephew, has never seen an Indiana Jones movie.
Shame.
So we tried to
He's
prep him, and he
13.
wouldn't watch the movie.
Shame.
So my brother and I gave him a quick rundown of every of the previous 4 movies going in. He loved the movie enough to where he wants to watch the other 4.
There you go.
Yeah, so that was like
There you
awesome. Yeah,
go.
yeah. I was like, well, that's a big win right there, regardless of what I think about the movie. So there we go.
John will only watch a couple of them.
So again again we're dealing with like sloppy stuff. Like when Indiana Jones wants to stay back in the past.
Yeah.
I thought that would have been fitting for him.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
totally on board with
again,
that.
I was emotionally prepared for
Right,
this.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
I was
not
ready.
even if he didn't die. Like just let him stay back. Like he
Yeah,
felt
he
like
just-
he was no longer part of whatever the new world that he was
Yeah.
a part of. That he
Yeah, he
wasn't a part of.
retired from his
Right.
job.
Right.
You know, he's by
And now
himself.
I will say that I really liked at the beginning of this segment where you're being introduced to contemporary Indy, who's the professor, 10-year tenure, as a professor, and you're seeing, he's trying to teach about ancient civilizations and anthropology and archaeology at the same time that we're about to put people on the moon. And the juxtaposition of nobody being interested in what he's talking about and him feeling like a relic himself versus
Yeah.
the forward movement and momentum of the space program, which he doesn't care
I
about
love
because
that he did not give a crap.
right,
about
he did not
space.
give one
Like,
flying flip about it. Exactly. And I liked that. And I thought it was sad. And
Yeah.
so I thought but I also think that's kind of part of the problem with the movie is that he wasn't relevant anymore in this time frame. And it just didn't feel like a relevant movie. I don't know. Like nothing it was like, why are we doing this to me?
Because
The
we
entire
had to
time.
redeem Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. We couldn't go out on that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Like,
We
But,
can't let that
yeah,
be the
anyway.
end.
Yeah.
That's
So,
fair.
but I'm going. So, okay. But back where I started with the messiness. How the heck did they get back? Like
They
she
got in the
punched him, he knocked out. He got knocked out. How'd they get back with their little tiny plane that could barely hold 2 people? How is he
I
no
don't know.
longer?
That second dude was like
he was,
all
like,
the way
laying out.
stretched
Yeah,
out.
he was-
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking we can get
okay,
Indy in
okay.
there.
But I'm just saying.
They may have like had to layer.
Right, but it nearly destroyed both planes going through the first time. And
Yeah,
then
they knew what they were doing this time.
right, and then how the heck did
Practice
he
run.
did his name did his name get cleared? Was he no longer being a suspect
good
for
point.
That
murder?
part did bother me.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's
Like,
going
I
on?
had
with that?
forgot about that.
I did too.
Yeah, that's a huge plot hole.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
That's funny.
Dr. Jones, did you do this? No. All right. Well, we'll see you later. Have a good
yeah,
day.
yeah. It's like
wait.
Huh.
Because like the CIA person was killed, right?
right,
Yes.
yeah.
By
Everybody's
Max.
back in the
Yeah,
early
it was
two.
very much a plot hole.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's like
goodness.
any evidence,
actually Pretty
any
gaping
witnesses
plot
were in the past or dead.
Or we've gone back to the same thing we've been doing for the past couple of years with time travel that has ended up in a different timeline.
No, see, that we're specifically saying that is not the case. Because the Dial of Destiny was the same thing was always going to happen because just like the 7 of spades or 7 of clubs, it was a forced hand. So Archimedes forced their trip back to
no matter
him.
where you went from, you
Right,
always
was
end up.
always going to go back to him, and it was always forced. So Archimedes
it.
didn't time travel. The reason why he had propellers on his coffin and the watch on his wrist is because
He got it from
Indy
the graph.
gave it to them.
was
essentially.
always going to have it.
Yeah.
Right. So it was always going to have it, and they're always destined to do that pattern. So no, not in this
Was
case.
anyone else really bummed out when the plane was going down that Indiana Jones didn't say, "Get off my plane"? I know it's a different
No,
movie,
Mr. President.
Harrison Ford, yeah.
but I would have lost it.
That would have
would've
been actually pretty funny.
So I didn't realize how many plot holes there were.
Yeah.
Sad. Well,
Maybe that's
I mean,
why it wasn't
okay,
so,
so-
critically acclaimed, huh?
Let's not act like the other Indiana Jones entries
I mean,
are
yeah, that's fine.
watertight.
That's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah.
Like,
True.
for example, Indiana Jones just hangs on to the outside of the submarine until it gets to that little cave in Raiders.
Fair enough.
They didn't let him in.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, that's a
just
good
held his
point.
breath.
Like
Like-
these movies are not supposed to be taken very seriously. Like they're
No,
supposed to
Steven
be.
Spielberg or George Lucas's original pitch to Steven Spielberg was, "I want to make a B movie with A-list people."
Yeah. I
Like,
love that.
like it was no. That's literally that is an actual quote. You can Google it. Like, I want to make a B movie with A people. So, yeah, I don't know. To me, it didn't have to be perfect. That was part of the charm of the old ones.
Yeah.
But my last question, because I know we're starting to run long here, but the gal,
Phoebe
awesome
Waller.
or annoying? Yeah.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Awesome
Yeah,
or
Phoebe Waller,
annoying? Because I went back and forth a lot.
Yeah, I didn't really see her as annoying. She was like mischievous.
Yeah, very much not the character that they portrayed in the trailers,
Yes.
Correct.
which I think was a good
choice. Good creative choice.
Yeah, a good.
I would have liked her to fall into the sidekick role a little bit faster, because I felt like she was kind of the antagonist. Well, not the antagonist. Obviously, that was Matt Mikkelsen, but she was kind of
She was an antagonist.
she was creating
For a
problems
while.
for a good more than half of the movie, which was kind of like, okay, yes, we get it. You're
You wish they'd lined up a little quicker.
She left him to
Yeah.
die.
yeah.
She left
Yeah.
him to die.
100%.
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah.
Straight up.
So yeah,
And they ended up buddy.
I don't know if I would call her annoying, but I would call
I was irked by her character.
yes. I guess that's a good,
good
way to
word.
put it. Yes. So a couple more things, and then we'll just wrap this one up. So obviously, I think actually just the last thing is all of the appearances by some classic characters that we got. Obviously, John Rhys Davies playing
Super old.
Sala.
Sorry, like that was my first thought.
Yeah.
How do you actually say his name? Salai?
Sala.
Sala?
Salah. Yeah.
Sala?
Salah.
Sala, I said no camels. That's 2 camels.
We got Marion.
Yeah.
Marion.
Mary, yeah, that was a neat little twist right at the end.
Yeah, I was like, oh.
I was not expecting that
All right.
cameo.
I teared up at that part. I will say.
Yeah.
There were tears running down my
Nice.
face, especially when she said, "It doesn't hurt."
yeah,
here."
when they redid the whole
Right, and it was like
yeah.
it was, but she
That
was,
was good.
also like she hurts all over because anyway, it was nice.
They were a
It wa-
cute old couple.
I teared up at that.
Oh, one of the best parts of that movie, and I can't believe we glossed over this. They killed Shia LaBeouf,
Stop!
Yes.
Stop!
No, like,
and for good dramatic effect.
and I was gonna say it was good.
It was
because
well
it
done.
It
And
helped
they used
develop
it
his
as character development.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
So that was his son.
that was his son.
Okay, I legit forgot.
It's okay.
yeah.
It was his son.
Legit forgot.
Yeah,
Uh,
he was going to take over the franchise until
Oh,
I remember that.
he got into
I
trouble.
remember that.
Yeah.
speaking of that, seeing old, I gotta say it nicer. Seeing older people tear up or like hear their voice crack
Gets you.
gets me every time.
Yep.
yep.
Especially if it's Harrison Ford. Jesus. Like, he was trying to walk away, but he was just like, my son. And I was like, yeah, man, your son.
Oh, that on the boat. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember
Yep. Where he unloaded a little bit.
The trauma
Yep.
dumped.
Yep.
That's what they call it.
that. Why are you wearing sunglasses?
That's
Oh.
just
It's his thing.
That's my thing.
It's
Yeah, we
it's
don't-
his online persona.
Yeah.
we just ignore it now. Yeah. And then randomly a pretty significant cameo from Antonio Banderas.
Right?
Antonio Banderas. See, I was like fighting myself for like
It
10
took me.
minutes.
I was gonna say it took me like 10 minutes to figure out that's who that was.
Really?
I thought it was Pedro Pascal. The whole time. The whole time.
I could see that. I could see
The
that.
whole time.
They
I
just
thought it was
found him wandering through the studio.
I literally got on my phone and was like, "Who is this person?"
Yeah.
Oh, Zorro. Okay.
Because it was like
Antonio
certain
Banderas.
angles where he looked like
Yes.
Antonio Banderas, and I was like, is it him?
No.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
I-
that guy
I was
Puss in
on
Boots.
I was on it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say.
Which again, that's another person that in my head I forget he is old now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he is still Zorro to me. Like that.
Yeah.
Young.
I mean, that's what I picture in my head. Like
Right.
when
Also,
I picture
unfortunately,
Antonio Banderas.
Evita.
Yeah.
which I thought was a horrible movie, but he was in that too.
Interview with a Vampire.
Wait, what is that one movie where he has guitar guns?
Desperado.
Ooh.
Yes,
Yep.
Desperado.
Yeah.
Desperado is
The
best
jam.
movie.
Yeah,
I need
where's
to watch more
that
movies.
sequel?
Right? We need more of that with Pedro Pascal.
Remember, this has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but do you remember, sorry,
That's usually how it goes.
Tropic Thunder?
Yes.
And do you,
How could I
we
forget?
went to saw that together.
Yeah.
We went to saw that together.
Yes.
I have a master's degree, I promise.
Right.
We went to see
Not,
that
it's
together.
not in grammar.
From where? Just-
Yeah, it's in music. I only have to deal with 7 letters and count to 4.
Nice.
Remember the reaction that I had when we found out that Les Grossman was
Tom Cruise? Yeah.
I was like,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
no way that's Tom Cruise. That is
Yeah.
not Tom Cruise.
Yep.
I don't believe it. But it was Tom Cruise.
But speaking of
It
that
was.
movie,
Still is.
I continually tell the story. Like I was on the road, had no internet most of the time, so I saw the billboard, like little cardboard standee in a movie theater, and I was like, "That's not real. That can't be real. This is a joke." And I got back home and was just like, "They made that movie.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It was a joke, but they did make it.
They
Yes.
made it,
Yes.
What
and
a
it was a
film.
success."
Yeah.
What a film.
We didn't deserve it. Anywho,
All right, let's wrap this up by giving it a score. So, if you are new here, the way we do this is each one of us gives it a score 1 to 5. Obviously, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. And then we average them all together to give us the official Eat Sleep Nerd score. So, let's get into it. So, I'm going to start. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Because aside from the time travel thing that I thought was just a little bit too much, I loved it. It felt like Indiana Jones. It, I thought, was a nice closing to this character because obviously this was his last hurrah. I thought it had just enough fan service. We saw some classic characters. We saw some classic elements, especially in that first opening sequence. So I thought it was a great time, but not a perfect time. So 4 out of 5 for me. Who's going next?
I'll go next. I'll get
Jason.
mine out of the way.
Oh, God.
There were not
0.25
portions of this movie that were not enjoyable. There were not portions. Anyway,
We're not.
there were
not
portions of this
enjoyable.
movie that were enjoyable. There we go. We'll
There
just,
you go.
There
we'll
you go.
simplify it. Okay.
Simplify it.
Right, I'll just-
instead of
But,
relying on the triple negative.
Right. They were not. I really wanted to enjoy this. I did, and I sat there looking at my watch a few times, and I was like, it took him like nearly 2 hours to actually like really get into the Indiana Jones portion of being the older Indiana Jones. It took like nearly 2 hours to get there. I was just like, okay, this is, I don't know. Anyway, so with all that, I'm going to give it a 2.75.
Ooh.
Mm.
Actually, it's higher than I thought he was going to get.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Yeah.
I was waiting
I was
for a
thinking at least a
1.5. Yeah.
Let's go Josh next.
Nostalgia runs heavy in favor for me. It does not cause criticism. It causes me to be extra lax. So,
All right.
so no, I'm going to give it a firm 5 fedoras out of 5.
Yay.
Okay.
Nice.
Good choice of word too. And
Yeah,
then
the
we'll go ahead and
alliteration.
go Nick next.
Special guest star.
So we're allowed to give decimal points, right?
Apparently,
Yeah, as
Jason
much as you
started
want.
that,
Jason has it.
and
Yep.
just it's
Um,
stuck.
Corey's acting like the computer doesn't do the math for
I
him.
know.
Yeah, right. And then sometimes decimals feel right, you know?
Well, because like it's not a 4 to me, but I think it's better than a 3.
Yeah.
Or is it a 4?
Don't
sound like
succumb
the
to peer
actual voices
pressure.
in my
Stop
head.
that. Be true to yourself. Be true to yourself.
They sound like the actual voices in my head.
Right.
Like, it's just do it. I'm gonna give it a 3.5. I think
Okay.
it's
I mean, it's fair.
it was a very good movie, and I'll definitely see it again. But just I have to stack it up against the other ones, and I think it has its place at about a 3.5 compared to the others. Just how my brain works.
All right.
It's fair enough.
I'll take it. And then Christian, bring us home.
Oh, yeah, it is me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, going from 4 to 5 just throws me off. I think it was an amazing movie. The one true criticism that I have is that the second act ran long for me. It was a little too much.
That transitional
within it.
portion.
Yeah.
To kind of get things going. Yeah.
Because the traditional like movie formula is just like some exposition, action. A lot of exposition in the middle. And I get it. I mean, it's an old character.
Yeah, got a exposition dump.
Yeah. But, that was the only thing that I would really blame the movie for. So
You done
I
had
always
all
just
this
freeze
time.
into the
You done had all this time.
But I'll give it like 4 cracks of the whip.
I was gonna say that with mine, but I forgot. Dadgummit.
Well, it's
All
hard
right.
to do when you do decimals.
Yeah.
3.85.
Yeah, so
Nope.
averaging
Corey always
all 5 of those scores together, I want to make sure my formula was still doing it correctly. That brings us to a 3.85 out of 5, which yet again kind of lines up right in the middle between critics and audience right now.
Yeah.
So look at us go.
So as always, Eat Sleep Nerd is pretty much the pulse of the world.
Yeah. So that wraps us up for this special spoilercast episode of the Eat Sleep Nerd podcast. Be sure to go to youtube.com/@eatsleepnerd and click that subscribe button, click that like button, leave some comments. Go watch our other videos.
Tell us we're wrong.
Tell us we're wrong. Yeah, that's what the comment section is for.
Change my
But
mind.
like with your opinion, not just, hey, you're wrong.
Also,
I don't know. A comment is a comment. That's
Yeah,
how
I mean,
I don't care what you
also,
say.
I would like to point out that we are all here having a civil discourse, discussing. the
Yes.
movie. So if you would like
Might
to
not be the
join us
case if
via
Jason
a comment,
wasn't in Alaska. But
if you would
got
like to
pretty
join
heated
us
during the
via a
flash.
comment, we would also appreciate a civil discourse.
Yes.
Yes.
And then also, if you want to join us for some more time travel discussion, go check out our Strange New World Season 2 Episode 3 reaction video that we just posted yesterday. So go check that out. And also be on the lookout for more reaction videos for Secret Invasion Episode 3 and Star Trek Strange New World Season 2 Episode 4, and also more stuff on the way on youtube.com/@eatsleepnerd. But in the meantime, keep nerding out.
You did that without a script. That was great.